The morning started like any other at Ridgewood High. Kids shuffled in, yawning and rubbing their eyes. The smell of stale coffee hung in the air. Mr. Jones cracked a lame joke about fractions. We all pretended to laugh. It was just another Tuesday. Then the bell rang. History class. I opened my textbook. Suddenly, a high-pitched buzz pierced the air. We all looked up, confused. Mr. Jones frowned. "What is that?" he muttered. The buzzing stopped. An eerie silence fell over the classroom. We all held our breath, waiting. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The loudspeaker crackled to life. A voice, sharp and urgent, boomed through the room. "Attention all students and faculty. This is a lockdown. This is not a drill. Please secure your classrooms immediately." Panic seized the room. Kids gasped. Some giggled nervously. Mr. Jones' face turned white. He sprang from his chair and rushed to the door. "Everyone under your desks! Now!" We scrambled, knocking over chairs and books in our haste. Adrenaline surged through me. My heart pounded in my chest. I huddled under my desk, my knees pulled tight against my chest. The classroom was silent except for the sound of our ragged breathing. We were all terrified. What was happening? Who was outside? Mr. Jones whispered into his phone, his voice shaky. He was talking to the principal. I strained to hear, but his words were muffled. What was he saying? What was going on? Time crawled by. Each tick of the clock felt like an eternity. My mind raced with terrifying possibilities. Were we safe? Would we ever see our families again? A floorboard creaked outside the classroom. We all froze, holding our breath. Silence. Then heavy footsteps. Someone was walking down the hallway. The footsteps stopped right outside our door. I squeezed my eyes shut, my heart pounding against my ribs. Please go away, I thought desperately. Please, just go away. The door handle rattled. A collective gasp escaped from the students huddled beneath their desks. Mr. Jones held a finger to his lips, his eyes wide with fear. The intruder was trying to get in. A loud bang echoed through the room. The intruder was trying to break down the door. Screams erupted from the students around me. I covered my ears, but the sound was deafening. Another bang, and another. The door shuddered violently. It wouldn't be long now. We were trapped. Terror clawed at my throat, choking me. This couldn't be happening. It was like a nightmare. Mr. Jones grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall. His face was pale, but determined. He stood beside the door, ready to defend us. But what could he do against a madman? Suddenly, the loudspeaker crackled back to life. It was the principal. His voice was calm but firm. "Attention all students and faculty," he said. "The police are now in the building. Please remain calm and stay in your classrooms." Relief washed over me. We were going to be okay. The police were here. They would save us. The banging on the door stopped abruptly. Silence descended once more. But this time it was different. This time, it was the silence of hope. We waited, holding our breath, listening for any sound of the intruder or the police. Minutes ticked by. Finally, we heard the sound of running footsteps, shouting, and then silence again. The doorknob rattled one last time, and then the door swung open. 2 police officers stood in the doorway, their guns drawn. "Is everyone all right?" one of them asked. Mr. Jones nodded, his face etched with relief. "We're okay," he said, his voice trembling. "Thank you." The police officers ushered us out of the classroom and into the hallway. We were finally free. As I walked down the hallway, I saw police officers leading a man in handcuffs away. His face was contorted in anger, his eyes wild. That was him. That was the man who had terrorized our school. Later, we learned that the intruder was a former student who had been expelled for threatening another student. He had come to the school with a gun, but thankfully, no one had been hurt. We were all shaken by the experience. The lockdown had only lasted an hour, but it felt like an eternity. We had been so close to danger. It was a miracle that no one had been hurt. In the days that followed, the school provided counseling and support to students and staff. We talked about our fears and helped each other to heal. Slowly but surely, life at Ridgewood High began to return to normal. But some things had changed forever. We were no longer the carefree students we had been before the lockdown. We were more aware of our surroundings, more cautious, more afraid. The memory of that day, the fear, the uncertainty, the terror, stayed with me. It was a stark reminder that even in the safest of places, danger can lurk around any corner, and that sometimes the most ordinary day can turn into a nightmare in the blink of an eye.